Good evening and welcome to the November business meeting of the Hatfield School Committee. I'm Christy Boudreau, chair of the committee, joined by Kathy Engelhardt, Rebecca Bench, and Adam Sullivan, along with our administrative team. And as we call this meeting to order, we want to open up first for public comment. There's no one with us here at Town Hall this evening, but is there anyone joining us by Zoom that would like to make a public comment this evening? Okay. Not seeing anything coming through there on the chat. And so we will move on to mission moments. And we typically don't keep Zoom open for the rest of the meeting, but you are able to join the meeting through Hatfield Community YouTube, which is streaming live. And so if you're looking for that link, it's on the top of the agenda. So last chance for public comment. Did you open the chat and just make sure there's nothing in the chat? Okay. Thank you, folks. And so with that, we'll move on to mission moments.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, please.
So we had some, I don't know a total head count, but we definitely had a fair amount of third, fourth, and fifth graders running for student council. We held elections, and we have voted in a representative for each classroom. And I have met with them for the first time last week and plan on meeting with them weekly to better our school.
That's awesome. I saw pictures of the posters. They were delightful.
They were amazing.
And varied. There was a wide reason to vote for every candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Fun. Others?
Sure, I'll go next. So on November 8th, the Legion hosted their Veterans Dinner. This year we had more students than have volunteered since I've been there to serve dinner to the veterans. We had 10 students from Smith Academy who went down there and served dinner. It was great. It was nice to have that level of volunteerism.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and kudos to the kids for finding that important and a valuable use of their time.
Do you think the increase in volunteers was due to the veterans coming in to speak or the volunteer requirement?
I don't think it is. I don't necessarily think it was either of those things. I think because we've had other volunteer opportunities that haven't generated quite that response. I think students generally found that as something that they would like to do and saw value in. And we had that level of response prior to the veterans coming in to speak to students.
Great.
Too.
And a shout out to them for coming to
And a
speak.
shout out to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, to come.
I was really pleased to see that.
Yeah, it was great.
And I was glad our social media covered that as well. Anything else for mission moments? Okay. I'd like to take a motion for the consent agenda, which approves the minutes for October 20th.
So moved.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. We are going to move into district reports, starting with Dr. Driscoll.
All right, so I will start with the district-wide report. We recently had a PD day. We had PD at both schools. We at Smith Academy hosted youth mental health first aid. That's kind of the adult version of the teen mental health first aid that we do with our older students. Basically training teachers to recognize signs of kind of a mental health crisis or issue that someone might be having and giving them appropriate tools to help that student deal with it. HES hosted training on restorative practices as well as training for the front office staff around visitor screening. We also hosted CPR at Smith Academy as well. Recently, the district PD committee met for the first time to review and recommend a calendar for next year. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We currently are interviewing in the final rounds of interviews for the final position, ESP positions at Smith Academy, so we're looking forward to filling that. We have conducting our evaluations at both schools. And coming soon, we are fortunate to be having a DESE district review this year. So these are kind of They happen every kind of 7 to 10 years-ish with districts. DESE will come in. This is different than the tiered focused monitoring review, which we did last year. This is a different kind of review. They review policies and procedures and provide recommendations in a report. So we are getting that started soon. Committee meeting, we heard about some public comment about a incident at the elementary school. The district has conducted an internal review of the incident. The review found no evidence of wrongdoing or failure to follow established procedures on behalf of the elementary school or any personnel at the elementary school. Nonetheless, we took the opportunity to review and reinforce our safety practices to ensure that we continue to do everything possible to keep our students safe. That included the recent PD that we had at the elementary school for front office staff. We are looking forward to the community entrance door project being completed. So we have most recent we heard was that we intend to have that completed over Thanksgiving break. So we'll follow up with our contractor on that as well. Slight HVAC issue at Hatfield Elementary. There were 2 blockages in the ductwork that they found. One was fixable. The other, they need to shut things down in order to do that. So I think they're planning to do that over Christmas break.
Yep.
We have new gas meters at Smith Academy. I talked about that's just something that they came to do. I talked about the volunteers that we had for the Veterans Dinner at Smith Academy. We also welcome the veterans into our schools. Recently, I think there was a recent Gazette article about this too, that the Mass Mammals Project is going again with the elementary school. So they came in last week to do that. That's tracking animals and wildlife around Hatfield, which is a pretty cool project that is in conjunction with UMass Amherst. UMass Amherst students, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I called some Amherst students, UMass Amherst students once.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, they didn't appreciate it. It's now time for winter sports signups at Smith Academy. So we have our basketball teams are being kind of formed as we speak. It looks like we'll have at least 5 teams at Smith Academy, so that'll be great. That's a good, robust turnout. And the Smith Academy trustees are looking to donate a new sign out front for us. So we have currently the sign that you need to switch the letters on every so often. This will be an electronic sign that we can do remotely. So in the event of a snow day, I can put the announcement up on the sign as well from home. But we can also put announcements for things going on in the district and the school, which would be great. So huge thank you to them for their generosity.
It's a great gift.
Yeah, it is a great gift. We are working with the town and the CPA on the Day Pond restoration and rejuvenation project. I think I wrote rejuvenation, but it's the restoration project. So that it looks like they're going to be working on that through the winter. They're going to dredge it, deepen it, aerate it, and make it so those fish can survive through the summer. Which would be wonderful. I continue to participate in the new student induction, new superintendent induction program, and the Connecticut River Valley Superintendent's Roundtable. Recent topics of those have been policy advocacy for schools, strategic planning for districts, and of particular note, funding. So advocacy for funding at the state level. Actually, tomorrow I'm scheduled to testify in one of the several hearings that the state is holding about the kind of inadequacies of the Chapter 70 funding formula. And I think what I'll be sharing is fairly similar to what districts statewide and certainly Western Mass-wide have been sharing, which is sort of just that right now the formula is missing the mark, particularly for us around special education and reimbursements for special education. That's the district report.
Can I just ask a quick question
Sure.
on your incident report follow-up? In that investigation, was part of that reaching out to DCF and also Hatfield Police?
Yes.
Did you speak with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So the HVAC at the elementary school, this is separate from the boilers.
Yes, connected,
Okay.
but separate. Yeah.
Okay. How are the boilers coming?
Uh,
It's getting cold out.
my understanding is that the project is still on track to be done over the winter. So
Perfect.
they'll be able to take the boilers out one at a time to have the school function under one boiler, install one, switch it over to the new boiler, install the second boiler.
We love to hear it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm hearing it's quite warm in many rooms.
We were told to send shorts.
That,
Incredible.
part of that is the blockage.
Some,
Part of it, yeah.
my child's room said, he says it's good that his new winter coat fits because he needs it in class.
Yeah, that has to
That's
do with
the
the
problem with the
blockage.
blockage, right?
The
So the
HVAC
heat is not
thing.
moving through some rooms and then
And
it's
then
getting
like super
dust.
blasting
So
other
it's-
rooms.
Correct.
Okay,
So-
so the
Okay.
blockage fix will help.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Great.
Is it improved after the first blockage was fixed?
A little bit in some rooms. What's happening right now is there's like like an elbow joint,
Yeah.
and that's part of the reason why it can't move. So
Got it.
it's just impacting that ability for that airflow to continue.
Okay. So
Right
it'll still
now-
be a little irregular until at least
Correct.
Christmas.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of the rooms are running really hot, and then others have no heat, very little heat.
I have 2 questions. I'm getting a feeling of deja vu about the electronic sign, right? This was like
Yes.
Okay.
So there has been a bit of a saga with the electronic sign. We originally had found a quote from a company in Texas and had paid a deposit to that company and saw
Trustees had paid
the
a deposit.
trustees. Yes.
Just to clarify,
so-
it's not a school budget
Right.
expenditure.
Yes. So when I say we, I mean the trustees and I
Yeah,
have been
okay.
working on it. So they are fully funding this project, start to finish. There'll be no impact on the school budgets whatsoever from it. But yeah, they had we had gone with that company because they had the best quote. That company stopped talking with us completely. Didn't have anything to show for it after a year, so we requested a refund. They're still waiting for the refund.
Hmm.
But the company we're going with now is wonderful. They've come out several times they even put a mock-up sign
I was
up
going to
there,
say,
and
was
they're
that
local.
at like homecoming? There was like
Yeah.
a sign on a truck.
Yep, yeah,
Yeah.
they did that at the trustees meeting so they could see what it would look like with the different options.
Nice. It looked
Um,
really good.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
did look good. And even though they stuck my face on there, I didn't love that. But the company is local as well, so anything
Great.
we need, we can really just get on the phone or even drive up there.
Nice.
Great.
That's really kind of the trustees.
It is. It's wonderful.
my second question is you mentioned talking about the inadequacy of Chapter 70 funds.
Mhm.
Our Chapter 70 funds for this year, I think it's about $3,400 per student, give or take. I'm just wondering how that compares to other towns. How do we?
So, for our purposes, in most surrounding towns for us, we are all kind of in the same category of what's called hold harmless. So basically, right now, Chapter 70 is really dependent on your population, and as populations decline in this region, which is happening kind of throughout. The state has said, okay, at this point, we're not going to take more Chapter 70 funding away. So it's kind of like we're at that low threshold, and we've been kind of there, and we'll be staying there. And most districts in the area are in similar boats. Yeah.
So we're getting generally just like a token amount more per student.
Hmm.
So it's like
Correct.
$75 a student.
Yeah. It was. I think
or-
last year was $70 a student.
but we're also spending more than the foundation level.
Correct.
So
Yep.
we're already past what the state requires, which is low.
Right.
Yeah, the foundation level is a
Foundation,
it's a
I
nonsense
don't know
number.
what school
Right.
could run on the foundation level. So,
I have a couple questions.
by all means.
When was the last time we had a DESI review? You said it was every,
I think our most recent one was 7 or 8 years ago. So it's been a while. And but it's not to be confused with the tiered focus
Right.
monitoring review, which we had. Those come in kind of 3-piece chunks, and so we had one chunk last year. Those tend to come about every 3 years, and those are more in depth, really focused on kind of student-facing things. The DESI review is really focused on procedures and policies. So they'll take a look at our policies,
Mhm.
they'll take a look at procedure manuals we have, they'll take a look at evaluations, they'll take a look at all that stuff, and kind of make recommendations based on what they find. They'll interview our administrative team, so, staff. They'll probably want to interview some of you as well.
When is that happening?
We are looking at a December date to start the submission process, and I think they'll be out here in January or February.
Regarding the sports teams,
Mhm.
I heard that there may not be enough interested people in cheering, and I was going to ask what has been done to drum up interest in that?
Yeah, so we keep sending information out. I know Jenny Charette is really talking it up among folks that she talks with, and among the students. And we announce daily that signups are happening. I think at last count there were 2 students who had signed up, and I think even if it doesn't run as a team, we're hoping to have some kind of club that that does that. But we may still, I mean, signups are still open, so we may still get more students as well.
Okay, Haley said there were 3 that showed up to the meeting
Oh, good.
today, and they need a minimum of 5.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we're close.
We're close. Last question, which is kind of something that I've brought up before. Um, for the folks at home and for anybody else, can you just describe the restorative practices training? Because I think that word restorative practices kind of nobody's absolutely sure what it means and what action is being done.
Sure. So to describe the training, Melissa might be more able to provide details on exactly what was shared. But in general, restorative practices is a way that when something happens, well, there's 2 parts. One is kind of setting the culture up in a way that facilitates discussion among individuals, among pairs, and groups when something happens. So rather than just saying, um, don't do that again, or having a consequence that might or might not be kind of related to what happened, and then moving on. It opens the space to say, here's what happened, here's how it impacted everyone, here's what we're going to do about it. Individuals can have that conversation, and then as bigger things happen, groups can have those conversations. And so the initial training is typically about how to set the stage for that, how to set the culture up in the classroom, how to put the structures in place to make sure that there is space and time designated um, to doing that. And truthfully, most of it is around um, kind of community building a community in the classroom that is kind, that is welcoming, and that's open with each other, which really pairs nicely with what is already happening. And so this kind of formalizes that in a way so that there are, when something, if groups of students are comfortable with each other and they're comfortable having conversations, when something does happen, they have experience having those conversations already, and it puts structures in place to do that. Um, when it comes to kind of disciplinary outcomes, it can be kind of done in kind of coordination with what would, I guess, be called kind of traditional discipline, or in kind of a mediation form where students who have had conflict or something has happened, if they've bought into it and would like to take part in something like this, you would never force someone to do kind of a mediation or something like this, um, where you have the opportunity for someone who has done something wrong, made a mistake, caused some harm, either to a person or to a community, to repair that in some way, in a kind of in a concrete way, where they know that they're kind of making repairs and moving on, and those that are on the receiving end, acknowledge that things are, that this is going to be put in place to make things better and move on.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That was it for me.
Okay.
That's all I have, and I touched on all of my school-based pieces as well in the district-wide report.
Principal Peter.
So we have completed our 1st through 5th grade teachers completed their 2nd full day SRSD writing training in October. Kindergarten had completed 1, and they will complete a 2nd one in January. We partnered with families to hold our 2nd parent-teacher conference at the end of October. PTA sponsored Spooktacular, which was a huge success as families came out to enjoy dressing up and trunk or treating. Grade 5, as you've heard, has begun working again with UMass to be tracking mammals in the area. So they've been working with them just to continue keeping count of numbers. They've put up some cameras around behind the building to track the animal movement. Veterans came to our school as well. They participated in the 1st grade classrooms. And then we had both Kit and Becky from the Collaborative Resolutions Group, which is a group based out of Greenfield, that came down to do the restorative practices work with our staff on November 10th. And just to kind of piggyback, the training that we did with the staff was really important because one of the shifts that we do responsive classroom with our students, in which students participate in a morning meeting where there's a greeting, so students get comfortable and understand about how to greet each other. There's usually a sharing. In the sharing, though, there's always a place where people can make comments or ask questions. When we're doing the restorative practice work, it's really about being an active listener and not, this is all about just hearing someone and listening to someone. It's not building on their experience, and it's an opportunity for people to kind of build community through the means of being able to hear each other's stories and how they feel about something, or how, we were in the group that we were working with. It was like, why did you get into education? What are you proud of? So just being able to hear each person share their own personal values on certain things is a way to kind of, again, build community. But then you're putting in those extra time to solidify a group so that, as Connor said, if there's harm done, then you have an opportunity to have people feel comfortable to sit around and talk about those kinds of things. So that was the big first step. And then we're inviting them back 2 more times to come in and do coaching with teachers and staff. So it was not just a one and done, and it was very well received by the staff.
That was all grades.
Yes. And all staff. That was ESPs. That was the entire school.
Nice.
Minus the few people that did the CPR training.
Okay. Principal Artis.
So actually, one of the things that we've been able to work on relevant to the CPAC is getting our first Zoom meeting actually scheduled. And our membership to the Federation for Children with Special Needs actually has changed a little bit, or their process has changed. We used to have to schedule these meetings. Now they're just basically available to us to sign up for, and they will send us the link within a very short time. So we do have the basic rights meeting coming up on November 20th at 6:30. We've sent notices out to parents, and there is also a posting on the website. We've had probably close to, I think, 5 or 6 families actually contact us, just asking us some simple questions about the link. One of the opportunities I had last month was to actually visit the J.S. Bryant School, which is actually part of what I need to do as a director for our out-of-district programs. So right now we have 4 different out-of-district programs where we send students. So I've been able to, so far, actually attend 3 of them to actually do site visits. And so J.S. Bryant was actually kind of an opening celebration for them. They officially started on September 2nd. This was more of a formal event, and it was really well attended by legislators in the area, different professionals from different organizations, and a lot of parents and community members that actually attended as well. So, like I said, that was just kind of an opportunity for me to go and actually visit the program, and that does count for one of my site visits. One of the other things that we've been working on, following up on the TFM, is essentially our next report is actually due at the end of this month. And we still have 2 things that we need to finish up on. One is the bias review, and we did actually send an updated version of work that staff at Smith Academy and the elementary school had done relevant to the bias review. And I think they're actually okay with that. The last thing that I believe that we're going to have to present to them is really kind of like a write-up as to how the bias review will be done each year, time of year, what staff, the process that we're going to use. We've already introduced to them that we're using a version of the Washington model, which was essentially endorsed by DESE as what districts should use. So I think we're pretty close to getting that done. The certification piece with ELR for one teacher, there is like one question that we're trying to get answered, and it's kind of vague from ELR, basically asking about evaluation status of the employee. We're trying to figure out what they're actually asking for so we can give that to the employee so they can in turn download that to ELR. Besides that, we do also have the position that was recently vacated for a tutor for essentially a medically homebound student. And we have been in the process of filling that position. Do have a candidate, and I believe we're probably close to getting that person started. And besides that, I did just give you an update on how many meetings so far this year. And for IEP focus meetings, it's been 69.
69. Wow. And are all of the meetings that are scheduled to happen in December, are they booked?
We're actually scheduled up until mid-January right now.
Woohoo! Excellent. You can ask about the boilers every month, and I will ask if IEP meetings are scheduled.
Then I got certain things I just
That's
really
all.
want to know are on track.
Excellent.
Hmm.
Okay, thank you all for the updates. Appreciate that. I don't think there is an update on the district improvement plan.
Not
Yes.
that I submitted, but I can speak a little bit to it. We're in the process of putting together our school councils. So we've sent notices at both schools out to families as well as staff to try to get members. We're still looking for some parent members at both schools, I think. The PD committee has met to have the first meeting. Our next meeting is scheduled, I think it's actually this week, to talk about kind of focus areas for professional development. So once we have, we've recommended the calendar, and then we're going to recommend sort of for each of those days what kind of the professional development should look like. So that's kind of what we're going to get into at the next meeting. In terms of academic rigor, we had a recent meeting with MCLA to look at opportunities for continuing our dual or concurrent enrollment programs for in-state Massachusetts schools. Of particular interest is the arts for that program. So we'd love to have some college-level art courses that we can offer in-house for credit at MCLA. And that's in coordination with the VSU courses that we already have. At the elementary school, I know they
We vote on the district improvement plan yet?
Nope, we have not.
Okay.
So that needs to come back through. We'll
Okay,
just tighten
we
that
can
up
do
and
that.
vote on it. So with that, let's move on and take a look at the first draft of the 26-27 calendar for the school district. Just as a quick recap, and I think I can do this off the top of my head, I have double checked, it's 180 days. It's 10 half days, which is one more half day than we have this year. And the reason that is the December holiday. So this year we have that whole week, just the way the dates fell. This would give the 23rd as a half day. So we have fewer vacation days in the middle of that window and picked up the extra half day there. It has the required number of PD days and curriculum development days per our contract. And this started with the PD committee, as Connor just mentioned. I think there is a little bit of a question about when the recognition of Juneteenth is, because the federal guidance and the state guidance don't align. So we're just going to double check that. So it falls past what we assume our last day will be, but could come into play dependent on if there were snow days.
Which happens every year anyway.
I don't know. Dr. Driscoll is not real keen on snow days, is my experience.
No, I mean,
This could be the year.
It falls into that
Yes.
about snow
if
days.
we were
Yeah.
going to have
Yes.
5 snow days.
I'm
Um,
not going to make any bets, but
Starting on a Wednesday next year. Usually we start on Thursday in
Yeah.
September, right?
And we're collecting some feedback from the HTA about that as well. The PD committee had recommended having the first 2 days start the 27th and 28th. There has been some advocacy to start for the first day on the 28th and then the 30th first and
can do 3 days
and-
together for
right.
PD.
and then start on the 3rd, which would bump the final day until the 17th. So we're collecting some feedback from the
Kind
rest
of
of the
like the
I like
2
starting
days and the
on-
2 days.
Yeah,
The
yeah, I
27th
agree.
and 28th, and then the 2 days the next week, and then having the kids start on a Wednesday, I think is great.
Yeah.
3 days, then 4 days, and then a full week.
That's what the PD committee was thinking as well.
That's
But it will still be good to hear back from a
100%.
broad group of staff.
Yeah.
Because there might be some opportunities to sort of shift how that one day works. For example, the end of August date, if it went to one day instead of 2 days, that might be the work day.
Right.
And you could have some flexibility over that, which would be nice to offer. If anybody was taking a last vacation.
And I like the PD day tacked onto the end of Thanksgiving break rather than in early November. Because that always felt a little,
That was the feeling of the PD committee too, is that November as a whole always feels chopped up.
yeah.
Because if you have Veterans Day, you have Thanksgiving, you have a PD day at the beginning. And so if we could put it toward the end of the month, we could still get the benefit of having it that time of year, while maintaining a little more continuity during the month.
Just out of curiosity, because this year that particular PE day was tagged with Veterans Day, but Veterans Day was on a Tuesday, so we
Right.
put it on a Monday.
Yep.
How was attendance at PD Day on a Monday before a holiday?
It was great. Yeah.
Anybody?
I had only a couple staff out.
Yeah.
That was it.
But like out sick, not
Mhm.
out.
Yes, correct.
That's awesome.
Maybe in other years it would want to shift. If Veterans Day is on a Thursday or a Friday, that the
Mhm.
PD day
Yeah.
would go back up there for
Right.
That
I think
year.
I think it's
wherever
worth-
that
Yeah.
shifts, it sticks with something to make it a
make it
set
make
group of
sense.
I'm just
days.
glad it's not like a random Tuesday. I mean, I know it was
Yes.
voting day and I know there was a
Yeah.
reason for that at one point, but when we have control over when the day is, it's kind of nice to glom it on to something else.
Yeah.
It'll be
So-
interesting to see the feedback we get if we do this attached to Thanksgiving.
I think it looks good.
So this will come back for a vote in December, but with the advantage of having additional feedback, particularly from
Yeah.
staff and from families who
Mhm.
can take a look and see if there are challenges.
That looks
Anything
good.
else on that? Okay. So with that, we will go into our school finance update. Mr. Sullivan?
Hi. So just following up on the budget for this year, the transfers that we did at the last meeting, everything is still in line for the rest of the year, so we're looking okay. But we're continuing our work on next year's budget. We're still expecting the higher special education costs to continue. We're hoping to get more back in circuit breaker than we got this year, which will help with our budget. Our contracted increases for staff is 2.7%, so we have to account for that. We are going to estimate our school choice reimbursement from this year to be at a lower rate because we got a lower rate of return this year. And then we're anticipating funding from the town to be flat or less. So the select board had a meeting this past week, and when they were budgeting for the overall town budget for FY26, there was a miscalculation. And they initially said they were about $465,000 over the levy limit. So they budgeted beyond what they're allowed to raise through taxes. It's looking like it's closer to $300,000, but it's still over the limit. So we're going to have a special town meeting in December to approve a higher budget than was initially approved.
I don't think it's just to clarify, I don't think it's gonna be to approve a higher budget. I think it's gonna be to approve the lower budget because it will have to shift funds.
Okay.
Tentatively, I believe set for December 2nd, 6:00
They
at
posted that online
HES.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which hopefully we'll be able to make.
Oh, at HES.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I missed that. So yeah, they have a plan to cover the budget for this year, but we need to expect that we'll have to make adjustments to accommodate that for next year. The select board meeting discussion suggested that Hatfield Public Schools might need to accommodate a good portion of that impact. So we're planning on being down at least $300,000 less than we are currently budgeted, assuming that half of the municipal budget, the schools are about half the municipal budget, so the schools might see about $150,000 of that cut, which takes up basically the 2.5% increase for the year. The town also has to make other adjustments because of the high insurance costs that we've been talking about, and every town's been talking about the past few months. So that's just another wrench in the gears. So we're a little bit back to the drawing board because we were making progress, and then this happened, so we have to kind of back up.
There's no sugarcoating. It's gonna be a tough budget season. Tough for schools, tough for the town, but the status quo will not be on the table. So, and we'll know more. So they're challenging conversations
Mm.
and not ones that any of us sitting on school finance enjoy. So, questions?
I don't envy you.
I'd be happy to pass the baton if anybody else wants to take that one. Although I think we all would be
Yeah.
happy to not do that, but we can just go make the best choices we can make. So with that, we can move on to policy. We have potentially 2 votes tonight.
Yeah, policies, I'm not going to get in my head of myself, but I think it's pretty straightforward tonight. The policy subcommittee is continuing our review of the conduct policies. So we've put forward today JICC student conduct on school buses. This is the second reading. We made no changes from the first reading, except it updated the date at the end. We recommend a vote on this tonight, depending on how the committee feels about things. But if we do decide to vote, then we are requesting that we concurrently eliminate JICC-R, which was the associated procedure. We have wrapped the relevant items into this new proposed policy. So we are open to any feedback about JICC.
I think it looks great. I read it today on my lunch break, and if any typos, it's very clear, and expectations are, spelled out, and yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion that we skip the 3rd reading for JICC student conduct on school buses and to eliminate JICC-R and approve this policy this evening.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. And approved. Thank you. And thank you guys for taking care of that.
Yeah, sure. The next policy that we have is a new policy that we are putting forward for first reading today. It is middle school pathways exploration. DESE came out with requirements that all districts have a policy on this topic. So this is our first reading of what we have drafted. And we are open to any feedback about that policy.
Is this just picking up what they have provided, saying that we need to have?
Basically, yeah. I don't know if Dr. Driscoll has anything further he wants to say about that one. We got a notice from MASC and reviewed that, but they're not putting out like a template policy, so.
Yeah, and this is like
Edited
Rebecca
from
said,
another district's
yeah,
draft
from
of
another
this
district's-
policy. Yeah.
and it's basically what we are required to do, and it's a lot of stuff that we already have been doing. But the state has said that they want it, in policy, required by law, um, except for charter schools.
Right.
They're exempt from this policy.
So because this is a brand new policy, our subcommittee as a general rule recommends having more than one reading, but we feel good about this policy in general. So I guess we leave it to the committee, unless Kathy, do you have an opinion?
No, it's pretty straightforward, and it's exactly what Desi is asking for. And there isn't really anything new that
Right.
this is saying for us to do. It's everything that we have been doing.
Yeah, I was just going to actually clarify the same thing, which is that we are already in compliance with this policy
Absolutely.
in
There
terms of our practices.
There isn't anything in here that we haven't already been doing.
Does anyone see a need to bring this back for a second or third reading? Okay. With that, I'm going to make a motion that we approve this policy this evening and bypass second and third readings.
I
And that
second
way,
it.
you
Yeah.
guys can move on.
Yes.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. With that, we're concluded on policy,
Thank
unless there's anything you guys want to discuss.
No, they have both been marked as final. So they can be,
Updated.
they
on
can
the
be
site.
updated.
Okay. Well, with that, what time is it? 7:45. I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
Incredible.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.